Okay. Good night, everyone. Good night. Welcome to Dare to Tell. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I welcome you to my platform, Dare to Tell. And so tonight, my name is Donna. I'm your host for Dare to Tell. And with me, I have my co-host, Sister Leslie. And so tonight we have a wonderful guest, a woman of God that has gone through so much in her life and has lived to tell the story, to give God all the glory that he truly, truly deserves. Her name is Tamara Davidson. And so tonight, Tamara, just give us a little synopsis about who you are and, a little bit about your life before we go into your story.
Okay, good night. Thanks very much for having me.
Yes,
Uh, my testimony will be a blessing to others.
yes.
I am Tamara Davidson. I'm from my God in Manchester, Fufu Parish of Manchester, Jamaica. I am I am the second child for 7 children of my mom and my dad. I am I'm working full time at Conduent, Jamaica. I am humble, hardworking child of God.
Amen. I realized that from your book. I started reading your book and oh, let me show you her book. The name of her book is Purpose Cannot Die. It's an awesome book. There's so much in there, I tell you, that will impact your lives. You have to buy this book. And so tonight, I want to bring you back to the events of October 2013. What happened to you that changed your life basically forever. And but tonight, I just want to give God the glory because you are here to tell us you are a living testimony. And while you give your story, there are times when I might stop to ask my co-host or myself might ask you a few questions. And if there's anything that you find uncomfortable, which I doubt, because your testimony is to impact other people's lives, then feel free to tell us. So bring us back to that day of in October, what happened?
So it was night of October 9th, 2013. It was a regular day. Got up the morning, went to work. My spouse was home because he was on vacation, but he did transport me to work that morning. So I went to work. He went off to do a little business in the morning and we went back home. So from there in the evening from work, I went back home. We had dinner. That was around 7:30 p.m. We had dinner. So after dinner, I went to wash the dishes, and he in turn went to dispose of the scraps we had left from dinner. And then on his way back to the kitchen, all I saw was Jermaine along with three armed gunmen behind him. I was in so much shock. I was just in awe. But they did come in. As they came in, they ordered us to keep quiet and to go down on our tummies,
Mhm.
execution style. So we obeyed and we did what they said. During that entire period, it was it was it was terrible. I was shaking, I was nervous. I was there just praying and asking God to just cover us and to just save my life at that moment because I didn't know what would have happened. So the gunman, he began asking for gun because my fiance, he was a police officer.
Mhm.
So they asked for gun, they asked for money, and they were just there searching and digging around until I heard um, they even asked me where I worked at the moment. because my purse was right there at the counter and there was only 350 Jamaican dollars in there. So I think they were very upset that their demands were not met. And they started kicking Jermaine in his head.
Mm.
That at that moment I was just praying and they kicked him and I heard a little silence and there was it. They shot him twice, twice in his head. At that moment I was there just praying and was like, God, it's me next. So
Mm.
I just laid there and they shot me to the neck first. That bullet lodged in my C5 vertebrae, and that bullet it affected my spine. So when they shot me, that was I was there, I was numb. I was trying to move because I was conscious. I thought I could move, but then I realized my entire body was numb. But
Because
that's
of where the shot went, right?
right. And then I tried to hold up my head because of the blood running from both of us. I felt that I was drowning. So instead of me dying from the bullet, I felt like I was drowning with the blood all over us. So I had to try and raise my head from the blood, trying to catch breath at that time.
In that moment, I can't even begin to imagine that moment that you're going through. So, in that moment, did you think you were actually going to die?
At that moment, I didn't. The fact that
Yeah.
I was conscious, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make it because I heard, I understand, I know what is happening in the moment. But then I realized I was trying to call for help, but the words weren't coming out.
Mhm.
But I heard a police officer came in and said, they're dead. And then I heard a total silence. And then I was, God, they don't see that I'm breathing. And nobody, it felt like I was there for hours and nobody coming. And then I heard another police officer said that the girl is breathing. Let's take her to the hospital. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Somebody finally realized I wasn't dead.
One of the things that really really touched me was before your fiance passed or died, and he said he thought about you more than even himself, because
That's
the first thing he said was, "Don't hurt my baby."
that
He
is,
wasn't even thinking about his life.
no. I
Because
see,
most people, well, I should say some men,
yeah,
wouldn't care less at that moment. They don't want their lives to be gone. You know what I mean? They wouldn't even be concerned about yours. It would be
that's
like, begging the gunman not to kill them instead of you.
right. That's true.
So that's an amazing, amazing love that one could have for his
You
fiance.
saw it, right? I
Very
really
selfless.
saw that. It was divine. I saw it as divine love, that unconditional love that God has for us. I saw Him manifest that. I mean, you can't be dying and begging for somebody else. That has to be love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I read in your book about your neighbor, Miss Terry, Mrs. Terry. It seemed like you had a community that looked out for each other. Like you guys really looked out for each other.
We did. We did. We have an association and we
Yeah.
also have street leaders, street reps. So we had a close bond with each other, especially those in your immediate street.
Surrounded. Because
So
what really touched me about her too is that she said she heard something, but she wasn't quite sure what it was. So she started calling
Right,
everybody. And
right,
when you or your fiance didn't answer, she said, "Oh no, that's strange."
right.
And thank God for her
Yes,
that really, realized that something is not right to send help, to call for help.
God, God really bless her. I talk to her very often, and I really appreciate her
Yeah.
and
So
her family.
so tell us about, so when they came and they found out that you were alive, continue your story.
Okay, so at that moment, honestly, I don't even know when I moved from the kitchen to the van, the police jeep. I I started to go in and out of consciousness. But during the journey, because of the bad road, each time that the van dropped in a pothole, then I would regain consciousness because the van was going up and down. But throughout that journey, I was in and out of consciousness. I didn't know when I was placed in the hospital. I have no idea at that moment what transpired there. All I knew, I woke up in the hospital. When
Wow.
I woke up, there were doctors, all the medical team around, and they were like, "Tamara, stay with us. Stay with us, Tamara, stay with us." And I could hear them keep on talking, and stay with us. And during that time, they started to ask for my mom number along with friends. So I was able, in that moment, I don't know, but I was able to give them their numbers out of my head. And I also gave them directives, call my mom, but please don't talk to her first.
Wow. God, I tell you, God is amazing.
I knew she would have broken down there and then because we share a very close bond. So she gave the phone to my sister. So she was the one who answered, but my mom realized that something was off.
Mother's instinct, a mother's.
Yes. So she like, what's happening? Why are you so silent? What is happening? And my brother blowed her. Um, they killed Jermaine and Tamara got shot and we don't know if she's gonna make it and everybody was just up and down and confused and they don't know what to do, what to say. Persons were calling. I mean, the news spread so fast, like international, locally. His mom, she was there, she was overseas at the moment.
Oh, wow.
So she wasn't there at the moment to assist or to, so she just had to rely on the phone call conversation to see what
My
is
God.
happening. But his brother was there on spot. So he did most of the communication with her.
Wow.
So they drove from, because the incident happened in Montego Bay, but my parents are in Manchester. So that took about 2 to 3 hours driving. And they drove, and it's like they couldn't reach. They, they, they didn't know what to expect because they were told that I was dead. So they were coming and not knowing what to expect.
Mm.
By the time they reached, the, they had zip up the corpse with Jermaine's body, so they weren't able to see him at that time. But my coworker, she was the one who actually dropped me off from work that evening, and she was the one who had to turn around and acknowledge and to identify Jermaine's body. And I mean, she just talked to us like an hour ago, and then this. So she was broken, but
Mm-mm.
through all of that,
So,
go ahead.
go ahead.
I'm saying all of that though, everybody came and they did what they could. I was there in and out of consciousness. I can only recall two of my visitors, and they were from Westmoreland because I had relocated to Westmoreland at my first job. So those persons were from Westmoreland. They were the only two persons I remember during that whole ordeal of visiting me in the hospital at that time. My mom, my dad, all of them came, but I cannot recall any of that.
Anybody?
Right.
Mhm.
None of that conversation we had. So
So take us through your time now in the hospital because you weren't able to move, walk, do anything.
no, all my extremities were down. I was pretty much paralyzed,
Mhm.
depending on persons to do everything. So the incident happened at 13th. 2 days later, they did the surgery and they removed the bullet from my neck. So that was removed successfully.
Good. Thank
Then
God.
I spent 2 weeks in intensive care. And during that 2 weeks, the security team, I was under 24 hours protection. So because of the nature of the incident,
Right.
all of that. So my visitors were screened and all of that during the process.
Mhm.
So after 2 weeks in intensive, I did another week on the regular ward. They had physiotherapy coming like once or twice per week. But
Mhm.
at that moment, the doctor said there was nothing more they could do. So the
But
best
God.
they could do, but God, because they saw me being a vegetable at the moment.
Yeah.
But God, but
Yeah.
God
Like you said, he has the final say.
does. So
Yeah.
I was transferred to Mona Sir Golding Rehabilitation Center in Kingston.
Mhm.
So that morning, I mean, God, that morning when I was transferred, I woke up about 4 a.m. in the morning and I took the ambulance down. I tell you, that was a drive I will never forget. It
Wow.
was very painful. I
Wow.
think, I mean, every shift, every move, the pain just started. I prayed the entire time to just reach and to be out of the vehicle. And when I went to rehab, when I went, they did an assessment because I went there for an assessment. I did an
Go back
assessment,
to the hospital.
right, to go back to the hospital. And normally at rehab, you're on a waiting list.
Mhm.
You do just go there and get you. And I tell you, the doctor said, I see potential in you. I'm not sending you back to one to go there. And I was
Wow.
admitted the same day. And from there, God just take over. I I I watched God move me from that stretcher to the wheelchair to the cane, walking independently through that process. I spent 5 months at rehab,
Wow.
5 months, and I mean the first couple of weeks, I still had the staples to my neck and all of that. So I still was going through the healing process while therapy was going on. But my therapy, they encouraged me. They said, tomorrow you have to push through the pain. Miss Wheatley, she said, tomorrow you have to push through, fight through the pain. And she, I had her for a short period, and then I was assigned to Linva Lewis. My God, he is He is so committed, so dedicated. He, I think at one point, he had more faith than I had.
Yeah.
I was saying, boy, this just look, yeah, it's rough. Because green therapy, it is rough. I cried right through. It is hard. Imagine you lying down for 3, 4 weeks and then you have to regenerate all of those movements. It
Yeah.
was hard.
It's like becoming a baby all over again.
Learning to do everything. When I went to rehab, the only thing when they assessed me that was moving was my mouth and a little movement to my left leg. I was paralyzed.
Oh, Jesus. I
And they
truly believe that every person from the hospital to the rehab, I think God just placed them there every step of the way for
They
you.
did. They did. Even the person, Maxine Maxwell, I mean, I knew her for a short period, and I tell you, God used her throughout the entire period. She cooked home cooked meal. She made she made fruit basket from home. She came, she washed, she did like everything. She was like a second mom throughout the process.
God bless her. My
And
God.
I tell you, I appreciate my friends at work. I mean, Jesse, Kenisha, Wendy, they were there. They were there every 2 weeks. I was at Mona for 5 months, and every week until at the latter part they started coming every 2 weeks, but they were there throughout the entire period.
From
I was
beginning to end.
from the beginning, I was lost of nothing, and I thank my work, my employment conduit. They paid me throughout this entire 9 months that I did not work.
That was I read about that and I'm like, Jesus, God bless these people because who normally does that? Once you're
Well,
incapacitated, that's it for paying. God
yes,
bless them.
I was able to. I mean, I had no problem about my medication, about whatever I had to buy, and I lived comfortable throughout the period. I mean, the only time I was hungry is because I couldn't move. I was hungry one night, and I tell you, I have everything stuck up. And I said, God, imagine I'm hungry and I cannot move to take up a snack.
Jesus.
But God, but
But
God,
God. Yeah.
He,
And I heard, well, I read where you said the greatest healing therapy is friendship and love. And that is such a critical point that you could ever write in this book because healing is not just about the physical, the body. It takes a community, friendship, love, family, the whole works, because that's also a part of the healing process, I think.
I mean, I wrote a whole chapter about the importance of friends and family. They were my healing force. Without them, I could not be here.
Mhm.
They really stood by me, and I really appreciate them. Every
Absolutely. Because these are the times when you're down and out and you're going through some storms, that's how you find out who truly are your
that
friends or your family, whatever.
true. But I tell you, I have lost some friends along the way.
Yeah.
You knew who your true friends are were,
Yeah.
and is indeed something that I have proven.
Yeah.
I really thank God for them. I thank God for my mother. My mother, I mean, she is something else. My
Yeah.
mom was at rehab every single Sunday that God sent. She's a domestic worker, and I tell you that I don't know where she finds fear from sometimes. I know she borrows, but she was there.
That's the
She
mother.
was there at a point that the ward assistant said, Tamara, your mommy soon come, so she will tidy and bathe. So I said, no, that she is coming.
Wow. You said you questioned God, though you were not angry with him. You said you lost trust in mankind. You developed hate and bitterness towards the perpetrators, and you asked God daily why he would allow this ordeal to have happened. You had so many questions for God, and you were in a dark place because you became fully dependent on others. You lost your confidence at times, and your emotional state was unstable. So how did you get through that time? I mean, I know you had family and friends, but you within yourself, how did you really like cope, asking God all these questions and wondering why he took Jermaine and all of that? Like how mentally, emotionally, how did you
You
cope?
know, there was a period, I think it was a Sunday evening, some visitors from I don't recall which church they were from, and they came and they say, Tamara, I know you're sitting there asking God why you. And let me tell you, you need to ask God why not you. And that has stood with me throughout this ordeal. It must be a reason why God saved me. And today I can say God saved me for this purpose, to spread the word and to glorify Him and to let persons know that He's a healer, He's a protector, He's a provider. He never leave nor forsake us.
Exactly. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what you go through, because when we read the word, we realize all these people that went through so much tragedy. I thought about Job and he lost everything, and it wasn't easy. So I'm in awe of your strength. I'm truly in awe of your strength. Some people would have probably given up and said, I can't do it, especially when you have to go through therapy. You
Right.
know,
Was
a lot of people would have probably given up. Sister Leslie, do you have any questions for Tamara?
Tamara, I listened to your story, and when you're telling the story, I hear the emotions as if it's something that just happened yesterday. And that happens oftentimes when we go through trauma. But the first question is, do you know who the perpetrators were? Were they familiar to you guys?
no, I don't know them. I
Okay.
know them.
And secondly, how were you able to pull through this with such strength? Because one, you got shot, but you also lost your life partner that same night. So it's like you were a victim twice. Once with the person that you love, and then you were shot also. Well, how did you pull out of that? And I know part of it you said it's because of the support of your friends and your family, but where did you find that? You must have had some sort of inner strength in order to persevere, that will to live. Let's put it that way. Where did you find that from?
Well, to be honest, I grew up. I'm always a church girl, as they would say. So I knew that God existed.
Mm.
I knew that God could have taken me through it. And I reached a stage that I recommitted my life to God because I knew with that additional strength, that Holy Spirit that will come with me or to live in me, I can push even more.
Amen.
So I needed that strength. So I recommitted my life to God. And that was even the moment that I was able to say, God, I forgive this person for
Wasn't
putting
easy though.
for all of this that I don't even deserve. I've done nothing
Yeah.
but God.
But God, I tell you, I tell you. You said throughout the pain, you persisted in prayer. Not many of us could do that because sometimes people are going through pain and all the trauma that they went through. They can't even think of God to pray, much less because all they could focus on is the pain.
That's
So for you to persist in prayer, you were praying nonstop. You said you knew and you knew God heard your prayers when He saved your life, and that's amazing. That's awesome. Because honestly, sometimes I'm going through some little things and I can't even pray because I'm more thinking about the issue than thinking about praying.
true. Sometimes we just pray because we understand that language as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
That's it. Yes, that's it.
So
That's it.
we don't have prayer, long prayer, but we shed some tears and
Yes. Put them
understand.
in a bottle. Yes. Yes. So how are you today?
Well,
What
at the moment,
do you first before you answer that? I know that people that suffer traumatic events, they usually have PTSD. Do you suffer from that today? Do you have a hard time emotionally, mentally, physically, and so to speak? Do you get nightmares and all that stuff?
um, no, I haven't experienced nightmares from day one.
Any
I,
flashback?
I was in the hospital, like, Tamara, you need medication to sleep. I said no.
Yo, let me tell you, God kept you. Lord have mercy. I say God was all over you. My God.
I didn't take any sleeping pill at all. I
Wow.
I mean, God really. I mean, it was not me. It wasn't my strength at all.
No, not at all.
I did nothing. I just allowed God to just use me in the time to just. But
Yes.
physically, I still have challenges. I still experience chronic back pain. So I still have problem walking because of that intense pain at times. And my right hand hasn't returned fully. The fingers are still not 100. So I use my left hand to practically do everything.
Yes,
With
because I heard you learned to drive and you have to start using your left hand. That is amazing. That's awesome.
I'm a left-hander at the moment, so I drive. I drive from Montego Bay right back to Kingston to Mandeville. I'm all over. God has been really, and what is amazed me, I learned to drive during the incident. I
Goodness.
went to driving school during the ordeal. And I tell you that persons, people, human can be so inhumane. When I started working, I had to take the public transportation, and persons were so mean.
Wow.
When the driver should do a turn off to my house, they were just so mean. They started mumbling and why you have to turn off and all of those things. And I said, these were the things that pushed me to actually go to driving school. I said, I have to do this. So they there and then think they were hurting me, but they were actually motivating
Waiting.
That's it.
to
Excellent.
go and get my license and start driving around myself.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So how is your mom?
My mom is doing, she's good. I mean, I'm here, we talk every day.
Yeah,
So
it's
she,
amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about forgiveness. And you wrote in your book, you said forgiveness is not a feeling, it's a decision we make because we want to do what's right before God. How did you get to that place? How long did it take you to get to that place of forgiveness?
it took me about 5 years.
Understandably so. Yeah.
It, it wasn't an easy decision
Of course not.
to
Like they
know
took,
that you're still, it's not like I am well. I'm still living in the process, in the moment of sickness.
yeah,
So to see it every day and you wake up and you see the scars, you wake up and feel the pain. and then you have to turn around and say, God, I forgive them. It wasn't easy. And I think the church and I recommitted my life. That was the moment when I said, I have to do this.
Yeah,
And I did this for self. I didn't do it for them.
exactly.
I did it for
Exactly.
self because I am the one that need to move on.
Yeah,
I am the one that need peace of mind.
that's right.
So I did it for me.
Yes, you said you are a survivor, which you are. You are a victor, not a victim. Yes, you are a victor. You are more than a conqueror through Christ. You truly are. It's just Tamara, honestly, I'm really in awe of the person that you are and how you have overcome because I don't know, many people, even to this day, the forgiveness would not be there, no matter how much we are in God. You know what I mean? It's a tough one. It's tough, and but I commend your strength, the strength, like it said, when you are weak, he is strong because his strength is made perfect in your weakness.
Yes, right.
And I really do give God thanks for you. I would love to do a part two with you because there's so much in your book that I want you to talk about. Um, but today I give God thanks. You spoke about your sister, that she was there with you and that she
Right.
became your best friend and stuff like that, which is amazing. It's such a joy to have family and friends that truly
Sure.
stick by you during hard times.
Right.
And you are so strong. I don't know. And you are beautiful. I love your smile. And to show that you can smile even after all that.
Yes.
We give God thanks.
They will say I never lost my joy. you
The
know,
joy of the Lord is your strength, girl. Yeah.
That's right.
as I mentioned, smile, one of the nurses that came to look after me and they said, Tamara, when you start smile, I come back. Because I don't know where that smile goes. So I had to
Yeah.
smile even through the pain. Because I just had to keep it. But
Yeah.
God has been really good. I am in awe of his greatness.
Yeah. Of course.
I,
And rightly so, because I don't know. I can't I I don't know how I would be, but thanks be to God. You are a walking miracle to this day. I can't stop, like when I read your book, I'm gonna go over it and read it because I couldn't put it down. I just kept I'm gonna give my sister to read so that when we're doing part two, she's able to see everything that you've gone through. But this book is really it has an impact because there's so much in it, even though you're telling your story, but there's so much to help other people, to give them hope, to let
I,
them know that God is truly a miracle working God, and that there's nothing that he cannot do. There's nothing that you cannot come back from because look at you.
yep,
Mhm.
living, walking testimony. God is
Man,
That's it.
he's good. Oh
okay.
my God. So you yeah, I would I'll talk after I stop recording.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
I'll say something to you that will not go out into the airwaves. So Sister
okay.
Leslie, do you have any more questions for Tamara?
That's it for now. I just admire your strength, like Donna says. But I do believe God took you through this journey for a reason.
Yes.
For that reason that you're doing it now, that you wrote a book. So
Yeah.
other women can be encouraged.
Right.
Young women can be encouraged. People
Yeah.
can realize that, God is a God of second chances.
Yes.
You got a second chance, and it's your opportunity now to be like the woman at the well. When she had that encounter, she couldn't keep it to herself. She had to go and tell everybody about it. She ran into the city. Come see a man who told me all about me, right? So
Right.
your story is similar, where come see a man who saved me from death's door, because the gunshot in your neck, that could have been instant death. He's chosen to save you for a reason and a purpose, and that purpose is to go tell others about him. so that they can have that encounter with him as well. So you have a big task ahead of you, but that's why, your purpose is to go and spread, be an evangelist, to be an evangelist, and every person that you meet, to tell them about God. What he did for me, he can do it for you as well.
Amen.
So thank you for sharing your story tonight. It's truly inspiring. It's encouraging because we know that even though we walk away from God, even though we're disobedient, he never leaves us nor forsakes us.
Never,
He's
never.
always there for us,
Yes.
Absolutely.
right? So for that person who might not know God or who might not have a relationship with God, that's their opportunity to hear your testimony.
I want to read just a few lines of what you wrote in the back. Purpose cannot die. It's a poem. When you said you're talking about everything that you went through in the poem, and like you said, on a fateful night in 2013, the devil tried to end my journey, but God intervened with his grace and mercy. 2 shots received and left for dead. One bullet pierced my neck, the other my head. I should be dead, but God is the head. I just love that.
Yes.
God is the head
He
of
is.
everything that you've gone through.
Yeah.
And I give God thanks for that.
Yes.
And but I just want to say to the viewing audience, what Tamara went through. I mean, people have gone through less or even worse, but she lived to tell the tale. Do not keep your testimony to yourself, because it is hope for somebody else. It can help somebody else that is going through or have gone through to said, you know what, I look at this young lady and she has lived, she has overcome everything that she has gone through. I can do the same, with God. All things are possible. And so tonight, I just want to say, Tamara, thank you so, so much. I give God thanks for your family, your friends, your neighbors, everybody that helped you in that process, because they helped towards your healing. And it is so amazing, that community, So I give God thanks for you, and God bless you, girl. Keep going, keep giving your testimony, and just spread the word, because God truly, truly is awesome. You have any final words to say to somebody that might be going through, or have gone through something traumatic?
Okay. Um, for the final word, I would say, no matter how long you're going through something, no matter how long, God will come through. He always come through for us. You may be saying, God, but I waiting so long. He's an on-time God. Trust him and trust the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. God bless
Thank
you.
you for sharing.
Thanks so much for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
And to my viewing audience, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I hope that you will just continue to believe and know that you have a purpose, and that purpose cannot die. So I give God thanks for you. Have yourself a blessed day or night or evening, wherever you are. And thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube at Dare to Tell, and you can just, see all the testimonies that are there. Thank you so much, my viewing audience. God bless you.